Today there are about 80 million Tamils in the world. That's more than
80 million
Colombians or Kenyans. Most Tamils live in North and East Sri Lanka or in the southern Indian state of Tamil Nadu.
I wouldn't not even. Namaste everybody, welcome back to the channel. So for everybody again, I hope you guys are doing. Do the video here. We're going to react on who are the Tamil people. Request from a subscriber. We're going to discover who are the Tamil people. Don't forget to like this video, share, and subscribe. Without further ado, let's jump into it and discover who are the Tamil people. Peace out.
This video is sponsored by CuriosityStream. Get access to Nebula, a video streaming service made by your favorite educational creators when you sign up for CuriosityStream using the link in the description.
Okay.
This is South India, home to the biodiversity hotspots, the Western and Eastern Ghats, the Bengal tiger, the Nilgiri car, the Indian elephant, and whatever this creature is. Here is also the cradle of Tamil culture. Today there are about 80 million Tamils in the world. That's more than
80 million
Colombians or Kenyans. Most Tamils live in North and East Sri Lanka or in the southern Indian state of Tamil Nadu.
I wouldn't not even 50 million.
Tamil Nadu is now a state in modern India, but for thousands of years, Tamiligan, or the homeland of the Tamils, was much larger and ruled by independent kingdoms. Tamil culture is the last surviving classical civilization because they managed to keep their beliefs, culture and language intact for over 2,000 years. But who are the Tamils?
Over 2,000 years.
What does it have to do with $700 billion gold and coke? Well, let's find out.
Those people are crazy.
The Tamils, maybe more than any other people, are in love with their language. Tamil writing has been dated as far back as the 6th century BCE in the archaeological site Kirtari in India.
6th century BCE.
2nd century BCE at Untitled in Sri Lanka, making it one of the oldest datable languages still in use. Tamils often call their language Tamartai, which means the Tamil mother. It's more important to the Tamil identity than land, race, or religion. If you want to have the most intense conversation of your entire life, just go ask a Tamil person anything about the Tamil language. Tamils also take pride in the independent origin of their language. See, you can roughly divide India linguistically in half. North Indians generally speak languages descended from Sanskrit, an Indo-European language. This language family stretches from North India all the way over to Iceland. South Indian languages like Tamil belong to a completely unrelated language family called Dravidian.
This is originated from India.
Is no longer spoken. Modern Tamil survives as a living language for millions of speakers. Dravidians do not like it when North India tries to push
Hindi,
culture
never Tamil.
on the South. The earliest clear evidence of Tamil people are urn burials dating from around 1000 BCE at Ditch and above.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Of a god with a trident and a peacock, very like
MURUGAN.
Tamil's favorite god today, MURUGAN. But the Tamils really leaped into world issue when the Maurya Emperor Ashoka mentions the unconquerable southern Tamil kingdoms in his rock inscriptions made between 273 and 242.
Respect for those people.
Which is impressive when you consider the fact that the Maurya Empire essentially conquered everything else. This is right around the beginning of a Tamil golden age known as the Sangam period, lasting from the
Sangam period
BCE to the 3rd century CE. At this time, Tamilakam was ruled by 3 Tamil dynasties: the Solas, the Seras, and the Panjas. Unfortunately, there were no actual Pandas in the Panja kingdom. The Tamil kings were immeasurably rich and used their wealth to sponsor century-long poetry slams called Sangams at the Panja capital, Madurai, where male and female poets would show off their works. These poets created thousands of poems, books, and epic stories called Sangam literature.
Sangam literature
is unique in how it doesn't seem to belong to any single class or religion.
Their handwriting also is like throwing. Yo, I tried to write my name in Tamil. Yo, it's like throwing. You still have to. But it's amazing to realize there is other thing. Abdul Kalam.
The Tamil Muslim aerospace scientist Abdul Kalam, the European Parliament in 2007. The Sangam literature tells us about a rich,
Abdul Kalam,
multi-ethnic Tamil-speaking society 2,000 years ago, where Hinduism, Jainism, and Buddhism all coexisted peacefully, where kings would even invite priests to public debates on their beliefs. sang in poems described Madurai
That's
as
amazing.
so rich that it had a moat with secret underground passages large enough for elephants. Greek
Really?
mercenaries guarded its gates, and the scent of perfume could be smelled miles away from the city, where there were folks of every race buying and selling in the bazaars or singing to the
I want to
music
visit
of bands.
that place.
So how were the Tamils so rich? They were spicy. The ancient world was a bland, flavourless, unseasoned mess.
That's biryani.
It tasted a lot like English food. This was until the Tamils taught everyone the way of the spice.
This is
The 1st century CE,
turmeric powder.
for sailors, the Periplus of the Eritrean Sea says that the Tamils export pepper and other spices along with diamonds, woven textiles, pearls, ivory, malabatrum and other luxury items. What's malabatrum? Who cares? It sounds luxurious.
Malabatrum.
Another major export was cotton and silk clothing woven by women. Indian women would dominate this global trade for the next 2,000 years. Tamils traded so much that Pliny the Elder said India takes 100 million sesterces from our empire per year at a conservative estimate. That's about 10 tons.
Gold.
China had the Silk Road, the Tamils had the Flavor Highway? No, the Spice Boulevard. Whatever. They made themselves the centre for global trade network that linked Europe, the Middle East, Africa, India, Southeast Asia and China. We've discovered
Maybe East African, because we as West African, we don't receive those spice because we don't consume those spice.
The statue of the Hindu goddess Lakshmi got buried at Pompeii, and Tamil ambassadors met with Augustus Caesar in 20 CE.
Not we don't consume those spice, but you know, it's not in our dish a lot.
The word orange comes from Tamil Navan. Ginger comes from Tamil Inchiba, and rice in low
Inchiba.
languages comes from the Tamil Arisi. Without the Tamils, Ireland's greatest contribution to world cuisine, the spice bag, would not exist. And honestly, I don't want to live in that kind of world. One Roman cookbook had over 300 recipes using Indian spices, from ostrich curry to tasty peppered brain sausage, or everyone's favourite, another laxative. Link to the cookbook is in the description. Tamils got so rich off their trade routes that just one temple, the Padmanabh Temple, whose vaults were recently opened, has a treasure worth over $700 billion.
$700 billion. Oh my
The donations from Tamil dynasty,
goodness.
the Saras, the Panjas, the Pallavas, and the Solas. Some of the
$700 billion.
golden Mahavishnu statue,
Oh my
tens of thousands
Lord.
of gold coins, a solid gold throne,
$700 billion. That's insane.
And my personal favorite, 30 kilogram solid gold coconut.
Chai.
At what point does that stop being a coconut and start being a coconut?
I'm frustrated.
There are still
I'm really frustrated. $700 billion.
how much it's worth.
Not billion rupees, and billion US dollars.
People worked across Southeast Asia and lived in small communities there. Tamil merchants didn't just trade pepper with Southeast Asia, they traded the spiciest thing of all, tea. From the 4th century CE on, kingdoms from Thailand to Vietnam to Indonesia were ruled by Hindu kings and wrote using Tamil writing. Modern Khmer, Japanese and Thai scripts all descend from the Tamil Pallava script. The greatest monument.
That's why in Malaysia you can find people who speak in Tamil.
Hindu temples of Angkor Wat in Cambodia, the largest religious structure on earth. By the end of the 13th century, we even find a Tamil Hindu temple dedicated to Shiva all the way over in the Chinese port of Qinzhou, where a small Tamil community.
Guangzhou.
The wealth and fame of the Tamil lands invited more than just merchants. A small Jewish community could be found in Kochi in the 6th century BCE. More even came as refugees after the destruction of the Second Temple in 70 CE. And according to local tradition, the Jews were followed by St. Thomas, the apostle of Jesus, who landed in India in 52 CE and started converting people to Christianity. From Thomas, India's current Syrian Christian community claims descent. In 629 CE, a mosque was built by Muslim merchants in Buziris, and you can still go visit it today, or part of it at least, because the Portuguese blew it up in 1504, but like, it's still cool, you can still see some of it. Okay, so we're going to do a little time jump here. Let's see, invaded by the warrior tribes, Jainism and Buddhism take over for a bit, rise of the Pallava dynasty, Hindu revival, here it is. After the Sanga period, the next great Tamil golden age happened under the SULLIVAN between
Sola.
the 9th and 13th century. Their great
I will read it Chola.
Raja Sola rose to the throne in 985 CE. He and his son quickly turned his modest kingdom into an empire that conquered most of South India, Sri Lanka and the Maldives. The Sola used their massive navy, the largest in Asia at the time, to control the trade routes between Southeast Asia and China. When the Sri Vijaya Empire threatened to block access to the Straits of Malacca, the Solas launched massive naval attacks across
what's going on?
and even kidnapped the Sri Vijaya king. And no one ever messed with their trade routes ever again. Along with an army containing 60,000 war elephants, the Sola king's personal guard included the Padimugir, or women bodyguards trained in Tamil martial arts and weapons.
Damn.
There are also many
That's a lady, yeah?
advisors and using their own.
Don't play with every lady, yeah?
Raja Sola poured his enormous wealth into building massive temples in a style called Dravidian architecture. The most well-known of these being the Raja
Indians are so good when it comes to, do those sculptures. Those sculpture Indians are so good at it.
Was one of the tallest buildings in the world at the time. Other than Raja Temple, other Sola/Dravidian architecture is also breathtaking, like the Iara Iswara Temple, the Kanchikonta Solapuram Temple, and the Champakara Suvalara Temple. Sola temples also act as banks. These temples received massive donations from the royals, and then they offered loans from those donations to farmers, villages, and merchants. Sola temples became this weird vehicle for redistributing wealth and reinvesting in arts and local communities, making everyone richer. It's no wonder why when Marco Polo came here in 1273, he called the Sola lands
richest province on earth.
Sola power declined in the 12th and 13th century. Buddhism and Islam replaced Hinduism in Southeast Asia, and Tamil lands in Kerala drifted away and developed their own language and culture, which resulted in the modern Malayalam language. Okay, so we're going to need to do another time travel. We have Muslim invasions from the
Tamil people have a lot to discover, huh?
Who built the world's second largest city. The rise of the Portuguese, destruction
Vasco da Gama.
by Muslim armies, Tamil lands fracturing into small states, and here it is. No, it can't be. Not you again. Harry Harrow, 'tis a smashing civilization you come at. 'Twould be a shame if someone were to plunder it. Tamilakam was split into small, competing states.
Tamil people are typical south.
By the end of the 18th
Indians.
most of South India was under British rule. The Tamils resisted the British invasion. One example is that the Queen of Shivaganga, Velu Nachya. To protect her kingdom from invasion, she built an army to resist the British Imperial. This army
of ladies.
Women soldiers. One of them,
Kuyuli.
volunteered to destroy a vital British ammunition depot that was located inside the temple. Lily and her fellow warriors easily entered the temple as worshippers because the British thought women were harmless. Unable to sneak weapons in, they poured oil over Lily, who then set herself on fire and leapt into the ammunition depot, blowing up and securing victory for her queen in the following battles, becoming the first woman martyr in India's long battle for freedom. Despite acts like this, by 1858, the British Crown had seized control of all of India. Famine quickly swept South India between 1876 and 1878, killing 8 million people. With the area devastated by famine, the British could dismantle the over 2,000-year-old Tamil textile industry. As British textile manufacturers couldn't compete with Tamil textiles, so they destroyed all the Indian loom. Then they pushed Tamils out of work as craftspeople and onto tea, sugar, coffee, opium plantations in India, or sent them off across the empire as
Exploitation of British people.
John Sullivan, a colonial official in southern India, said, under their own dynasties, all the revenue that was collected in the country was spent in the country. Our system acts very much like a sponge, drawing up all the good things from the banks of the Ganges.
That's why you guys are rich and like you believe people, like you make people poor outside there. Because you guys do a lot of things there. Same in Africa.
Indian independence, language became a battlefield in India. In 1950, Hindi, the most spoken language in India, was selected as the sole official language of the country, with 1965 picked as the year the changeover to English would happen. speakers of the Dravidian languages in the south didn't like Hindi because it was Sanskrit based, which they considered more alien than English. As 1965 approached, thousands of Tamil student protesters shouted, "Hindi never, English ever," in the streets of St. Stephen. 4 students set themselves on fire as a symbol of non-violent protest.
Hindi never, English ever.
Hindi became the official language of India, then Tamil Nadu would secede from India. The protesters won. The Official Languages Act Amendment of 1967 ensured the continued use of English.
That's why when someone's speaking Hindi only and you come into South here, sometimes like, you know,
even now in India, Tamil Nadu is famous for
you don't even find yourself
culture and language
because
and as the champion of
people speaking different language with you.
But Tamils don't only live in Tamil Nadu. Just a few kilometers away from there is the island nation known today as Sri Lanka.
Sri Lanka.
Tamils make up 15% of the population. Sri Lanka is home to several ethnic groups.
Sri Lanka have Tamil people also,
Hindu Tamils are the second largest group.
but Sri Lankans are like Indians only. Sri Lanka, Nepal, Bangladesh, you know, they're close to be Indians. They literally have the same thing.
They were like, how can I make everything worse? Oh, let's introduce inter-ethnic conflict. In the 19th and early 20th century, to spur hatred, the British chose Tamils for higher positions than the Sinhalese in the government.
British destroy a lot of things, huh?
Lands were seized by the British and enslaved Tamils from India were settled there as plantation workers. These are Indian Tamils, distinct from the Sri Lankan Tamils who have lived in Sri Lanka for much, much longer. Sri Lankan Tamils live in the north and east. Indian Tamils live in the central.
They settle there, making babies and all,
everywhere.
and they become Sri Lankese, or I don't know.
In 1948, the majority Sinhalese took control of the island. Sinhalese nationalism exploded, and soon anti-Tamil massacres swept the island in 1956, 1958, and 1977, which led to the formation of a guerrilla fighting group known as the Liberation Tigers of Tamil Nadu, better known as the Tamil Tigers. On the 31st of May 1981, the Sri Lankan police burned the Jaffna Public Library to the ground, home to 97,000 books and containing irreplaceable artifacts of Tamil history. Seeing the fire, one Tamil refugee said, "It was as if my entire biography, my history and the history of the Tamils had been destroyed, wiped from the face of the earth as if we did not exist." On July 23rd,
At least you guys still have your civilization, you have your culture, everything. In certain countries in Africa, we don't have nothing. We just have westernized culture, Christian and whatever.
Killed 15 Sri Lankan soldiers, causing another anti-Tamil massacre to sweep the country. In an event
British
known
people, they
as
destroy
the Sri
everything.
Lankan Civil War had begun.
Destroy everything, to be honest. In Africa, there is a country where there is not even culture there. We all took westernized cultures,
The
and
Tamil
that's
Tigers were fighting for an independent Tamil nation. In the Tamil
really
Tigers.
sad.
As the war dragged on over decades, the Tamils became infamous for inventing the explosive suicide vest and for carrying out a suicide bombing campaign across Sri Lanka. The Sri Lankan army retaliated with brutal attacks against the Tamil Tigers, which mostly resulted in the deaths and displacement of tens of thousands of innocent Tamil civilians. The Sri Lankan state is still undergoing investigation.
people are more like, you know, darker than other Indians,
Against Tamils.
than, you know, North Indians.
War dragged on for 26 years, until the 18th of May 2009, when the leader of the Tamil Tigers,
But they have such a rich culture, to be honest.
The war took the lives of over 100,000 people, with 40,000 Tamil civilians being killed in the final few months of the war. These are rough estimates because a proper investigation hasn't been done. The war caused a mass exodus of Sri Lankan Tamil refugees to India, Australia, Europe and North America. Today around 8 million Tamils live outside of India and Sri Lanka. From the 19th century onwards, there were indentured labourers across the British Empire, especially to Malaysia, Singapore, South Africa, Fiji, Mauritius and the Caribbean, where many have kept their Tamil identity. Tamil is actually an official language in Singapore and Malaysia. Well, I think it's time to take a look at Tamil culture. Religion.
I watched a video who's stating that
the Tamil population of Tamil Nadu are Hindu, 6% are Christians, 5.8% are Muslims, and Jains, Buddhists and Sikhs make up the rest. The most important Tamil festival is Thai Pongal, a harvest festival dedicated to the Hindu sun god Surya that usually occurs on the 14th of January. This festival is celebrated by all Tamils regardless of religion. Pongal means to boil or overflow and refers to
Pongal is a festival happening in the south here. I don't think in north they have Pongal, because I verified the day they're celebrating Pongal here. North people, they don't celebrate anything.
Family and exchange gifts. During Pongal in Tamil Nadu, you might also see a Jallikutta. It is over 2,000-year-old sport. An Indian bull is released into a crowd of people, and men attempt to grab the hump on the bull's back with both arms and hang onto it for as long as possible, attempting to bring the bull to a full stop, thus taming the bull. If they do so, they get a prize. If no one tames the bull,
That's weird.
the owner of the bull gets a prize. There have been many attempts to ban this sport in recent years, which has caused massive popular backlash. Another interesting Tamil holiday.
They have a rich culture. That's what I like.
Who is worshipped by transgender people.
They don't change their culture for
At the
anything.
annual festival at
No.
Untitled, you'll see ceremonial marriages between festival goers and the god Aravan, along with beauty pageants and dances hosted with the support of the Tamil Nadu government. In 2008, Tamil Nadu became the first state in India to allow people to legally identify as a third gender. Arts. Tangible paintings and solar bronzes are some of the Tamil's greatest.
That's everything.
Art. But one of the more humble yet distinct features of Tamil art is the kolam, which decorates the front of almost every Tamil home. These are geometrical and floral designs made of rice flour. Each day the kolam is crafted
Sometime in front of our building here, this whole lady, she doing the same thing in front of our old building. I don't know the meaning, but it is what it is. Turukural.
Was finalized a few centuries after. This is a masterpiece in ethics and living well. The Tirukkural is made up of 3 books of wise sayings on virtue, wealth and love, all delivered in quick 2-line poems. For example, the greatest virtue of all is non-killing. Truthfulness cometh on your neck. It also just stops midway and talks about how to build good forts and always down for some fort talk. Charity and kindness are also key aspects, and Nadu is legally obligated to have a verse from the Tirukkural on it. One of the Tamil's most famous dances is Paratanatam. This dance tells a story through complicated movements or hand gestures, facial expressions and body posture. It also just looks incredible.
I've seen this dance also.
Food. Rice is a staple of the mostly vegetarian Tamil diet. Bananas and plantains,
That's dosa.
coconut, lentils, tamarind and mango are also common.
This is dosa. This is a typical South Indian food.
Spices. Traditionally, a Tamil meal.
You can find dosa everywhere on the streets.
Some favorite Tamil
Yeah.
foods include the light
Easy to find that, and it's cheap too. Yeah, I ate that sometime.
And no Tamil dishes.
One day I'll make video eating dosa. Idli also. That's idli. That's samba idli. Oh, I'm tripping.
Cinnamon.
Anyway.
People are passionate about cinnamon. Based in the Kodobakam neighborhood in Senate, the Tamil film industry, or Hollywood, is the second largest film industry in India. Many rap gangster epic Nayakan was included in Time Magazine's 100 best movies of all time. I actually watched a movie with one of Tamil cinema's superstars, Rajinikanth, where
Rajinikanth.
and it was absolutely amazing.
Yo.
Tamil cinema has been bled into Tamil politics. 3 chief ministers of the Tamil Nadu state have risen out of Tamil cinema. Tamil cinema acts as a way for Tamils to preserve their independent and original culture by producing films in the Tamil language based on Tamil ideas and culture. I wish there was something like that for YouTubers, so they could create independent and high-quality educational content for people that just love learning. Oh wait, COGITO and a bunch of our creative friends got together and made our own platform called Nebula, and we're excited.
He gave a lot of detail about Tamil people.
Watching the best educational content, ad-free, uncensored, and earlier on YouTube. This video is up on Nebula days ago, and there creators can also experiment with all kinds of new and exclusive content. This channel has exclusive content up on Nebula, and by supporting Nebula.
Okay guys, as you guys see, it's all about discovery in the Tamil people. They have a raw, they still conserve their culture, their everything. Like when you were in Saudi, they're celebrating every festival. It's like in a month they can have maybe 3 to 4 festivals. Sometimes you don't even know what's going on, but it's a festival, and I like that. I like the fact that they you know, they keep their culture. They don't you know, mix with like westernized culture and blah, because westernized culture, sometimes, you know, destroying people culture, and like you can forget about your culture and, you know, take this culture as, you know, oh, that's the best one, or it's not at all. Yeah, everyone's supposed to keep his culture. Yeah, the thing that I don't like here is like Africa. Most of African countries, they don't keep their culture. It's only certain countries in Africa who keep their culture, but most of them, they just you know, move to, you know, Christianity or like other like westernized culture, like European culture. Or it's not the case. Thank you to watch that video. I hope you guys learned something from these Tamil people here. Don't forget to like this video, share, and subscribe. Yeah, subscribe to this channel so that we can grow together. Have a great day, and see you guys in the next video. Peace out.
Welcome to Ismonakes, the French boy.